On board. Thank you all for coming this evening. Not as large a turnout as we would like to see. Hopefully there's a reason for that. It's not just weather related. Before I begin, there's just a couple of things that, housekeeping things that I want to take care of, and then we'll get right into the meeting. For those of you who have not attended before, I encourage you, all of you in fact, please grab a copy of the district budget report. Not only in the beginning is there a little description about how this meeting is conducted, and I know sometimes this process can be confusing. A lot of what we do up here tonight is dictated by the state. Doesn't always make sense, but in the end, the numbers add up. You can also see in this handout, there's a lot going on in this district. There's a lot happening in our schools. And you don't necessarily hear that when we're voting on budget articles, but a lot of that information is reflected in this document. Just to give you a quick little bit of background on where we're at with this particular budget. We started this process back in November, and at one point, this budget, we were looking at locally a 9% increase. That went down to 4%, and we're now at 2.2%. The varying increases from municipality to municipality, a lot of that is tied to our cost sharing method. Those municipalities that are now have additional students going into the district have seen their costs rise. Those who have fewer students going have seen their costs fall. I've been on the RSU1 board since its inception, and in the 5 years that I've been doing this, this is the most stable budget that I've encountered. State revenue this year was stable. There weren't any surprises there. It's comparable to what we saw last year. And despite, the usual year-to-year increases that we see due to contractual increases, rising fuel costs, rising transportation costs, we've been able to maintain about 99% of all programming in the district. And we've also been able to shore up some things, shore up some areas within our foundation that the board felt was necessary in the district. So again, wanted to thank you for coming. I've got this lengthy sheet I need to read, and we'll be off and running. So here I go. As directed, I, Timothy Harkins, chairperson of the RSU1 Board of Directors and resident of the town of Arousik in the county of Saginaw and state of Maine, have warned and notified the inhabitants of Arousik, Bath, Pittsburgh, West Bath, and Woolwich, who are qualified by law to vote in town affairs, to assemble at this time and place for the purpose of acting on the articles listed in the warrant dated on the 27th day of May in the year 2014. Attested copies of the warrant were posted on May 7, 2014. Attested copies of the warrant were posted at Bath City Hall, Patton Free Library, Bath Fire Station, Saginaw County Courthouse, Bath Police Station, and Bath Middle School, all being public in conspicuous places in the city of Bath and being at least 7 days prior to the budget meeting. Attested copy of the warrant was also posted at the Arousik Town Hall, which is a public and conspicuous place in the town of Arousik, and being at least 7 days prior to the budget meeting. Attested copies of the warrant were also posted at the Pittsburgh Town Hall, Post Office at Drumore Bay, Post Office at Sebasco Estates, Pine Tree Service Center, Pittsburgh Elementary School, and Business Center Store, all being public and conspicuous places in the town of Pittsburgh and being at least 7 days prior to the budget meeting. Attested copies of the warrant were also posted at the West Bath Town Hall, West Bath Fire Station, West Bath School, and New Meadows Market, all being public and conspicuous places in the town of West Bath and being at least 7 days prior to the budget meeting. Attested copies of the warrant were also posted at the Woolwich Town Hall, Woolwich Post Office, and Woolwich Central School, all being public in conspicuous places in the town of Woolwich and being at least 7 days prior to the budget meeting. Article 1A, to choose a moderator to preside at this meeting. Do I hear a nomination for moderator?
Nominate John Morse, the fourth.
Okay, we have a nomination for John Morse. Is there a second?
Second.
I see a second here. Are there any other nominations? Since there are no other nominations, we will now cease nominations and conduct the vote. I need 5 people to come forward and write your choice for moderator on a ballot. Okay, and John Morse is elected as moderator. John, would you please come forward and sign the oath?
John G. Warren. Hear me all right? I, John G. Moss, do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state as long as I shall continue a citizen thereof, so help me God. I can swear that I will discharge to the best of my abilities the duties incumbent on me as moderator for this meeting of election according to the Constitution and laws of the state, so help me God. Who have been here before know that I have a couple of basic rules. Basically, Robert's Rules of Orders or the rules of conducting a meeting. They're in the main town meeting moderator's manual. But we have one of Morse's rules. Morse's rule is that we shall only have one amendment to an article on the floor at a time. After we have voted on that amendment, if somebody else wants to have an amendment to that article, then they will have it. But we would do it one at a time, and it's under the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. I'm the stupid one. This way it helps me from not screw up. Also, if you have cell phones or whatever, please turn them off so that we aren't disturbed during the meeting. If you wish to speak, put your hand up, and Brianna or Alex will bring the microphone to you. Hold the microphone up, don't hold it down here and talk, so that people can hear you. This is being videotaped, and this is how the audio will get to the tape, if you're not speaking into the microphone. So, Article number 2 is to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for regular instruction. The recommended amount is $10,727,403. Who is addressing Article 2?
I move the article as written.
We have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. The Article 10.
You hear me? This cost center is up $157,174 from last year's total of $10,570,229. This cost center is the largest and accounts for all regular classroom teachers and supplies. Tuition for grandfather students to attend other schools is also in this cost center. As students graduate, those outside placements are decreasing each year. The priorities of the administration and board include an alternative education program, increased time for choral music at Morse, and increased slots for pre-K students. All of these priorities have been addressed within this cost center.
Is there any questions or discussion on Article 2? Yes, David? Wait for the mic.
David Henson, West Bath. Tim, is this for a question the cutting of $10,000 in the Yale program in West Bath?
Does this fall on this article?
Which article, Beverly?
It's technically under title money, federal money, but it also could fall under professional development money, which would come under Article 6, correct?
So when do you want to come, Article 6?
Excuse me?
Do you want me to mention that my question at Article 6?
Yeah, it would be more appropriate at that time.
All right.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor of Article 2 for the recommended amount, raise your pink card. All opposed? The article passes for the recommended amount. One other thing about the pink cards, if we come to a close vote, and I ask you to hold them up there, don't hold them up this way, hold them up so that they're flat so that I can see. That way you will get counted. If you hold them up this way, you may not get counted. Article 3, see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for special education. The recommended amount is $4,782,219. Who's speaking to Article 3?
I move the article as written. Second motion.
Anyone speaking to the article?
The increase of $166,697 in this cost center over last year's total of $4,615,522 reflects the increases in salaries and benefits and the expansion of our life skills program. Last year, we created a life skills program at Woolwich for grades K through 3. This year, we plan to expand the program to include grades 4 to 6. Additional ed tech support at Fisher Mitchell has also been added.
Any questions on Article 3? If not, all those in favor of Article 3 for the recommended amount, hold your cards up. Opposed? Article 3 passes for the recommended amount. Article 4, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for career and technical education. Who is speaking to Article 4?
I move the article as written.
Second?
I second that motion.
Any comments on that?
This cost center is down $16,627 from last year's total of $1,251,013. Due to low enrollments, the drafting CID program will be reduced to half-time.
Okay, are there any questions, comments? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Passes for the recommended amount. Article 5, see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for other instruction. The recommended amount is $550,626. Who's speaking for Article 5?
I move the article as written.
Second the motion.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
This cost center is up $37,842 from last year's total, $512,784. The flow program for Bath Middle School and Woolwich Central School and the annual trip to Berry Beach by Bath Middle School students are included in this cost center. Increased salaries and benefits also account for the increase.
Any questions? You can even hear that the rain is stopped. It's so quiet out there. If not, all those in favor of Article 5 for the recommended amount? Opposed? Passes. Article 6, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for student and staff support. The recommended amount is $2,401,486. Who's speaking to Article 6?
I move the article as written.
Second the motion.
Okay, are there any comments from the board?
This cost center is up $12,764 from last year's total of $2,388,722. Additional time for guidance at Woolwich, which is about a board priority, accounts for most of this increase. A change in guidance personnel at Morris resulting in a budget deficit of softening impact of the increase which occurs at Woolwich.
Are there any questions on Article 6 or comments? David?
I'd like to amend this article to include approximately $10,000 for the Yale program in West Bath.
Amend it to do what?
To increase it by about $10,000.
Okay, is there a second to the amendment? Okay. Any comment on that?
I would note this program, as far as the parents I've talked to West Bath, is very worthwhile. And in this program tonight, 3 of the staff members in West Bath are recognized for the work of this program. So I'm not sure why this program is being cut.
Board have any comments?
It's being reduced from 30,000 to 20,000, and the services that the contract that we're going to sign with EL, which stands for Expeditionary Learning, again, will be for 20,000 instead of 30,000, and we've had conversations with them, they feel that we can still move in a positive direction, meeting the goals and possibly accreditation that we want for West Bath School.
Well, if we used that 30 for all the programs back in the budget, we could cut them by a third and automate the programs. That would save a lot of money.
Are there any other comments on the amendment to Article 6? If not, we will vote on the amendment. All those in favor of increasing the recommended amount of Article 6 by $10,000, raise your cards. Opposed? Okay, I guess I'm going to have to count this one. So, all those in favor, put your cards up and hold them up. Okay, all those opposed? Okay, the amendment fails 30 to 14. So now we have the original Article 6 on the floor. Is there any more discussion or questions about that? Yes. Right.
Yes, Charles Durfee from Woolwich. Looking at the library section, I wonder if you could explain why the Fisher Mitchell appropriation for the Fisher Mitchell School Library is going down by $8,000.
I'll let you look for the detail.
Look at your booklet. About the fourth page in the booklet. Fourth page in the booklet at the top where it says staff, student and staff support. That is the line that we're looking at. Okay?
Yes, there's a decrease in the health insurance for the ed tech and of about $6,700, and then which would indicate a change in the plan that she has chosen, and also a decrease of $2,600 in the rents and leases, which is they have a copier in there that no longer is under a contract, under a lease contract. So that's a little over $8,000.
Right, so it doesn't indicate a reduction in staff coverage then? There's no indication, there's no reduction in staff?
No staffing decrease, no.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on Article 6? All right, all those in favor of Article 6 for the recommended amount, $2,406,486, on the cards up, opposed? The article passes for the recommended amount. Article 7, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for system administration. The recommended amount is $628,010.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
Okay, are there comments from the board?
This cost center is up $54,268 over last year's total of $573,742. Increased insurance costs and salaries and benefits account for much of the increase. An increase of $20,000 to contingency line is also included here.
Are there questions on Article 7? Discussion. If not, all in favor? Opposed? Or do you have your hand up, David? Okay. Wait a minute. We'll go again. We'll wait for the discussion.
What was the rationale for increasing the contingency fund by $20,000?
The $20,000 that we put in there was for on the maintenance side. I'm trying to think what we were trying to say now.
Our hope, our goal was to put $20,000 from our maintenance budget because of the work that we're doing with lawn this year, so that we would be able to show efficiencies. At the same time, we need to have more money to build up the contingency in case we have issues in some of our other schools with our facilities and maintenance.
Isn't there a fund set up in the bond for extras?
Yeah, there's a contingency line in the bond.
Right. So this fund was $20,000, that's,
This is just for general maintenance in the buildings. It has nothing to do with funding the bond.
It's just what we can, we're hoping to save because of the bond, but we're not sure that those savings will be there. So we put the $20,000 in contingency just in case those savings aren't realized.
So we cut the maintenance budget by $20,000?
In the energy costs and what have you.
I can address that a little more. When we had discussions about, with the maintenance department, some of the changes that are going to occur within the district, within the buildings, we anticipate having significant energy savings. And the board had pressed the maintenance department or facilities department to represent some of those savings by reducing their budget. They were hesitant to do that until we get through that first year to see what those savings would be. So there was a little bit of back and forth between the bond and, between the board and facilities. We wanted to see more savings in facilities. Facilities wanted to be conservative in the savings that they represented. So they made some cuts, but as an offset, we did put this $20,000 in a contingency in case that first year we don't recognize the savings that we had anticipated. We'll better be able to predict that in years to come after we've made these improvements, heating systems, windows, hot water systems. After the first year, we'll see what kind of savings we'll have in the district.
So if these savings are realized, that $20,000 will not be spent.
That's correct.
So something else that won't be spent.
I can't say it won't be spent, but it's there to cover those costs if we incur those costs or don't see the savings that we had anticipated.
And this was energy related. So if we save this money in the energy department in maintenance, then that $20,000 should not be spent, according to what it's written.
Ruth?
That's correct. That's the idea of it, that, as long as there's still a balance in the accounts in the maintenance line, that $20,000 should remain there, and at the end of the year, it will go into the fund balance in the school.
So that will show up in next year's budget as a line item of $20,000, either where we spend or where we're not spending on. It'll be held as a separate line item.
For next year, and for the one after, for fiscal year 16,
To report on how this $20,000 ended up a year from now, that will show up as a separate line item.
yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor of Article 7, the recommended amount? Opposed? Passes for the recommended amount. Article 8, see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for school administration. The recommended amount is $1,618,137.
Move the article as written.
Second motion. Board comment?
This cost center is up $52,710 for the last year's total of $1,565,427. Increases in the salaries and benefits account for much of this increase. A new copier contract for the district has been added, lease payments to some schools that did not happen previously. However, even with those new payments, the contract will save the district about $5,000 during the year due to the lower maintenance costs on copiers.
Are there any questions on Article 8 or comments? Seeing none, then all in favor of Article 8, the recommended amount? Opposed? Passes the recommended amount. Article 9, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to extend for transportation. The recommended amount is $1,256,344.
Move the article as written.
Second motion.
Any comments from the board?
This cost center is up $81,600. $714 over last year's total of $1,174,630. This is to be our second year of the 3-year contract with bus service. Increased costs for gas and diesel will remain cause of rise in the summer.
Any questions? If not, all those in favor of Article 9 for the recommended amount? Opposed? Passes for the recommended amount. Article 10, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for facilities maintenance. The recommended amount is $3,242,594.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
Comments from the board?
This cost center is up $107,408 from last year's total of $3,135,186. A new debt service payment has been added to this cost center for the new school improvement van. Another large increase is the cost of heating oil. The district has entered into a 2-year contract for heating oil at a cost of $3.25 per gallon.
Any questions on Article 10? If not, all those in favor of Article 10 for the recommended amount? Opposed? Passes for the recommended amount. Article 11, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for debt service. The recommended amount is $1,762,568.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
Okay. Comments from the board?
This cost center is down $50,091 from last year's total of $1,812,659. This cost center reflects the cost for state-approved debt service. We currently have 2 projects, BRCTC and the Woolwich School. There is a decrease due to the less interest being paid.
Okay, any questions about Article 11? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Passes for the recommended amount. Article 12, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for other food service transfer. Recommended amount is $60,000.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
Okay, comments from the board?
This cost center is at the same level as last year. With the high cost of food, salaries and benefits, and the maintenance on equipment, $60,000 is needed to help keep the program running in the black.
Any questions on Article 12? If not, passes for the recommended amount. Now that we've spent the money, we have to pay for it. So Article 13 is, shall the regional school unit appropriate $24,298,862 for the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, and shall the district raise and assess the following amounts as each municipality's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12. I'm not going to read all of the numbers. I believe that you have this on your sheet. We have a motion on Article 13.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
This article raises the largest portion of the proposed budget. The state has determined that the RSU can operate on a budget of $24,298,862. That's the EPS calculation. And has determined each municipality's share of the appropriation based upon enrollments. The state has further determined that the RSU should be able to raise $15,454,081 of the total $24,298,862 locally. If the RSU does raise the $15,454,081, the state will contribute as subsidy the amount of $8,844,781 to bring the total to $24,298,862.
Any questions? If not, all in favor of Article 13 as written? Opposed? Okay, Article 13 passes as written. Article 14, to see what sum the regional school unit will raise and appropriate for the annual payments on debt service previously approved by the legislative body for non-state funded school construction projects, non-state funded portions of school construction projects, and minor capital projects in addition to the funds appropriated as the local share of the school administrative unit's contribution to the total cost of funding public education for pre-kindergarten to grade 12. The recommended amount is $801,054.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
Board comment? Explanation?
Explanation is non-state funded debt service is the amount of money needed for the annual payments on the regional school unit's long-term debt, major capital school construction projects, and minor capital renovation projects that is not approved for state subsidy. The bonding of this long-term debt was previously approved by the voters or other legislative body.
Okay, any questions on Article 14? Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 14 for the recommended amount? Opposed? Passes for the recommended amount. Article 15, to see what sum the regional school unit will raise and appropriate. The recommended amount is $2,456,857 in additional local funds which exceeds the state essential programs and services allocation model by maybe I'm not reading it right, which exceeds the state's essential programs and services allocation model by $1,900,791 as required to fund the budget recommended by the Regional School Unit Board of Directors. The Board of Directors recommends $2,456,857 for additional local funds and gives the following reasons for exceeding the state's essential programs and services funding model by $1,900,791. The additional local funds represent local costs to support the regional school unit school programs that are not included in the state's funding model, including costs for co-curricular and extracurricular activities, transportation, and special education services. The Board of Directors recommends a yes vote. I have a motion on Article 15.
I move the article as written.
Second motion. Okay, any comments about Article 15?
The only comments, this is the written ballot article. These are the dollars that we raise as a district over and above what the state says we need to raise in order to run our school district. As was mentioned, some of the programs that are covered under these funds are co-curricular programs, extracurricular programs, additional transportation, and special education services. So these are the dollars that we raise over and above what the state requires, or the state minimum requires us to run the school.
Okay, are there any comments or questions about Article 15? All right, this article by state law has to be voted on by written ballot. When you came in and checked in, you were given a little white slip that said yes or no on it. So we're going, you're already checked in, so we know who's a registered voter. We've got 2 ballot boxes up front. Mark your ballot, bring it down. Do not fold your ballot. Do not fold your ballot, because somebody's going to unfold it if you fold it. Now they have lost it. Pause for 5 minutes while we both count the vote. Okay, we call the meeting back to order here. The results of the written ballot for Article 15 are yes, 54, no, 5. So Article 15 passes as written. Article 16. To see what sum the regional school unit will authorize the school committee to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014 and ending June 30, 2015 from the school administrative unit contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20-A, Section 15-690, unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of the school. The recommended amount is $28,263,773. We have a motion on Article 16.
I move the articles written.
Second motion.
Okay? This is the total ball of wax that you're authorizing your school committee to spend. Are there any questions at this point in time.
This amount is the total of Articles 2 through 12, which is referred to as the general fund for the RSU. Adult education and capital reserves are in unique funds and are therefore raised in the next two articles.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Passes as written. Article 17, to see if the regional school unit will appropriate $228,336 for adult education and raise $63,800 as the local share, with authorization to expend any additional, incidental, or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the adult education program. Recommended amount is $63,800. We have a motion on Article 17.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
Any comment from the board?
The adult education program serves over 250 people in our communities. This article authorizes the RSU to appropriate $228,336 for our adult education program. We're raising just $63,800 as a local share. The remainder of the adult budget comes from tuition fees and subsidies. It's a very good deal.
Okay, any questions about Article 17? Comments? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Passes for the recommended amount. Article 18, Capital Reserve Fund. Shall the Board of Directors be authorized to raise $25,000 for the previously established Capital Reserve Fund and be authorized to expend the funds if necessary? The Board of Directors recommends a yes vote. We have a motion on Article 18.
I move the article as written.
Second motion.
Board comments?
We've been allocating a small amount of money each year to the capital reserve account for major repairs that may need to be addressed in the future. With this allocation, we will now have a reserve fund of $250,000. That's not much for emergencies for the number of buildings we have.
Okay, are there any questions? If not, all those in favor of a yes vote, raise your cards. Opposed? Passes with a yes vote. Article 19. In addition to the amount in Article 16, shall the voters authorize the Board of Directors to accept and expend any state, federal, and other grants and receipts during the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014 and ending June 30, 2015 for school purposes, provided that such grants, aid, and receipts do not require expenditure of local funds not previously appropriated. The Board of Directors recommends a yes vote. Motion.
I move the article as written.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, are there any comments from the board?
This article authorizes the RSU to seek other sources of funding such as state, federal, or private grants to support education and expend them during this fiscal year.
Any questions about Article 19? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, Article 19 passes. Before we adjourn the meeting, we have a significant rite of passage, I guess, this evening, in that Ruth Moore, who has been our business director for the RSU, and she has worked for several school unions prior to the RSU, and has spent 30-plus years working for the school administration and at least 8 superintendents. So she's seen it all, but she's going to retire at the end of this year, and I think that we're going to miss her, and we need to give her an expression of our gratitude. It's an example of loyalty and dedication, and it's a very good one. So, if there is no other business to come before this meeting, a motion to adjourn is in order. Second? All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.